On the eve of the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro, one of the environmental movement's most prominent gurus has gone heretical, claiming that, quote, so-called sustainable development is meaningless drivel, end quote. We're referring to Gaia guru James Lovelock, the British inventor, NASA scientist, and environmental philosopher best known for originating the Gaia hypothesis, and for his trilogy of books on that subject, including Gaia, A New Look at Life on Earth, and The Revenge of Gaia. Now, Gaia, of course, is the Greek goddess of Earth, the New Age deity adopted by, or even worshipped by, many environmentalists. In 2006, Lovelock was predicting that global warming would soon fry the Earth. As a result, he said, quote, billions of us will die, and the few breeding pairs of people that survive will be in the Arctic, where the climate remains tolerable, end quote. So humanity would be gone, only a few struggling survivors left to eke out an existence at the North Pole. Now, that's about as doomsday as one can get. Now, he says, he was, quote, extrapolating too far, end quote. He uttered these and other heresies on June 15 in an interview with The Guardian, the British left-wing establishment newspaper that has been in the forefront of promoting radical environmentalism. The timing could not have been worse for many of Lovelock's erstwhile green allies, who were already gathering in Rio for the UN summit. He says, quote, I'm not worried about sea level rises, which he now thinks is not going to happen anytime soon. The 92-year-old scientist now says that, quote, the climate situation is more complex than we at present are capable of handling, or possibly even in the future, end quote. Which is what thousands of responsible scientists have been saying for years. Stop making these ludicrously simplistic and alarmist statements that blatantly aim at causing fear and panic. Lovelock now also criticizes the green extremists for having turned environmentalism into what he says is, quote, a green religion. In addition, he departs from fellow Greens with regard to fracking, the newer method by which natural gas is extracted from shale. The environmental left is trying mightily to stop natural gas fracking, as they are also trying to stop all energy development through coal, oil, nuclear power. Lovelock says the UK should be following the lead of the United States in fracking as much natural gas as possible. That, he says, is not only the right thing to do economically, but also the environmentally sound solution to all our energy needs at present. Then there's so-called renewable resources, which he lashes unmercifully. He says, quote, we rushed into renewable energy without any thought. The schemes are largely hopelessly inefficient and unpleasant. Fracking buys us some time, and we can learn to adapt. Now, perhaps Professor Lovelock has been reading the New American Magazine. Our Ed Heiseroth has written a series of important articles analyzing and exposing the false hopes that the enviros put into wind, solar, biomass, and other so-called renewables. In his cover story article entitled Shale Gale, Ed Heiseroth detailed the huge energy potential we enjoy here in the U.S. with our enormous gas reserves that can be accessed through fracking. Lovelock's Guardian interview was not a complete shock to his devotees. Over the past several months, he has made several similar comments elsewhere. In an April interview with MSNBC, for instance, Lovelock confessed to have been, quote, an alarmist on global warming and related issues. He pointed out that Al Gore and many of the other leading prophets of doom had likewise exaggerated the dangers of global environmental threats. He has upset many of his brethren for repeatedly attacking wind turbines as, quote, ugly and useless. Lovelock also sees the UN Rio summit as hardly any solution to the genuine environmental challenges. He says, quote, whatever the UN puts its finger in, it seems to become a mess. We can always hope that others will likewise come to their senses and join James Lovelock in adopting some sane perspectives about our natural and human environment.